Welcome to the preview of Sibos 2015 to be held in Singapore from the 12th to the 15th of October. My name is Joy McKnight and I'm Transaction Banking and Technology Editor at The Banker. I'm here today with David Scola, Global Head of Banks, Financial Institutions Group, Corporate Banking at Barclays. Welcome, David.
Thank you, Joy.
What would you say is the biggest challenges in corporate banking today?
I think the challenges, many of them remain the same from the past. I think the regulatory pressures that we're feeling have not gone away. I think that dynamic's changed a little bit, though, in terms of the conversation has shifted from what we need to do to become compliant versus how we remain commercial while carrying that cost of compliance. I think that the discussion's also shifted, though, a bit in terms of the innovation agenda and how we get in front of and really try and adopt a lot of the new innovative technologies that are coming to the market, many of which are represented by disruptive technologies that could challenge a lot of what the banks are doing.
Excellent. I think you've touched on a few things, but what do you think will be really the hot topics at Sibos in Singapore this year?
I think Sibos will reflect a lot of what I've mentioned. I think SWIFT has done a great job in crafting an agenda around the innovation subject. You can see the prevalence of the intertribe discussion in the agenda. That will certainly be one of the hot topics that will be discussed. Barclays has taken what we believe is to be a leadership role in those discussions, and will continue to further that agenda while we're there. One of the interesting things that has come up for a long time, and frankly the industry's not done enough about, is diversity. And I think that we're starting to see real initiatives crop up around the diversity agenda, not just within institutions, but across institutions. And I'm thinking of things like the 30% Club that's chaired by Brenda Trinauden from ANZ, and some other group-wide or industry-wide initiatives that are really looking to once and for all do something about the need for increased diversity in the banking space.
Excellent. And at the conference, you'll be speaking on a panel which talks about financial crime utilities or compliance utilities. What do you think we've learned from the initiatives that have come so far?
I think we've learned some positives and some negatives thus far. I think the negatives, I'll start with the negatives, have been that getting our compliance folks, and I'm not talking about just the Barclays compliance folks, but I think compliance folks across the industry, comfortable with the idea of documents being housed in a third-party repository and relying on that documentation has taken some time. And I think we've also seen that the ramp-up in adoption has been a bit longer than we'd like. Those are the negatives. The positives are we are now seeing that adoption. I think there's over almost 600 institutions that have signed up for the utility, over 1,100 specific entities. And we're starting to see that critical mass build around the KYC utility, and hopefully I think we'll see it really ramp up from here.
Yeah, so you talk about SWIFT's KYC, Know Your Customer utility, which was launched in June this year. What do you think, how do you think it can actually go beyond the scope that maybe it's originated from?
I think there's two ways in which it can go beyond perhaps its original incarnation. First, I think looking at the KYC value chain, what a bank needs to do in order to take on a customer, sourcing the documentation is just one aspect of that. I think if we look into the future, perhaps the repository or the utility could take a leading position in perhaps evaluating the documentation itself and providing some sort of assessment, right? I don't think the industry will ever look to SWIFT, or will SWIFT accept liability for doing a lot of the KYC work that rests on the shoulders of the banks. But I think there's more they can provide in terms of providing an assessment or an evaluation of the information they have. The second way is to expand the types of clients that they're looking at. So almost by definition, SWIFT is focusing on banks. There's non-bank financial institutions, there's large corporates, there's a whole spectrum of other types of entities that need to have the same process, the same adoption process undertaken. And SWIFT could really, I think, look to expand beyond its natural client base into those sectors. and take on those other entities.
Excellent. Well, you've given us a lot to think about, and I look forward to seeing you in Singapore.
Same here. Look forward to it, Joy. Thank you.
Thanks.